Today on the Magic Marc Show, we're going to learn about the magical world of butterflies.
Wizards and sorcerers, bunnies and spells, calling all whiz kids. We've something to tell. Sit down in front of the screen in the dark. Prepare for enchantment. It's time, Magic Marc!
Hey guys and girls, I bet you're wondering how I came to look like this. Well, the Whiz Kids and I met with the butterfly experts to see what it takes to become a butterfly. Learning all about it got me so excited, I decided I wanted to try it myself. Now take a look yourself at what the Whiz Kids and I found out. Hey boys and girls, what a great treat. Hanging out Callaway Gardens, the Butterfly Garden. A really fantastic treat because we have the director, Miss Gamble. Give her a big hand, Nicole Gamble. I understand, Miss Nicole Gamble, that you're going to give us a fantastic treat by showing us all and telling us about all the great butterflies.
I cannot wait to share the exciting world of butterflies with you all. It is so interesting.
Now, what is a caterpillar? Do you guys know what is a cat? Have you ever seen a caterpillar before?
It is a baby butterfly. That's exactly right. It's actually the second portion of the butterfly life cycle, and the caterpillar hatches out of that first part of the life cycle, the egg. Did you all know that caterpillars are little eating machines? Caterpillars eat so much that they increase their body size by 3,000 times.
Wow.
Can you imagine how big you would be if you increased your body size by 3,000 times? You wouldn't even fit in here.
So how big is a caterpillar egg?
Well, they're very, very tiny. If you think about a sewing pin and the little dot head that's on the top of that pin, that's about the size of an average caterpillar egg.
Wow, and then they grow to get to be the size of some of these big butterflies flying around.
Yes, it all comes from that one little tiny drop.
Like how long is a caterpillar become, I guess, before it becomes a butterfly?
Well, most caterpillars, anywhere from about 4 to 8 weeks. And they actually go through several molts during that time. Caterpillars can only grow by shedding their skin. Insects have their skeletons on the outside of their bodies. Now, I want you all to picture for just 1 second what you would look like if your skeleton was on the outside of your body.
Oh, that wouldn't be, that's another movie. That's called Alien or something.
That looks kind of strange, doesn't it? Yeah, but all insects have that. Their skeletons are on the outside of their body. So in order for them to grow, they got to get rid of that old skeleton. So they cast it away, and underneath is a nice soft new one, and that's when insects grow. So a caterpillar does that 4 to 5 times before it goes into a metamorphosis as a pupa.
Is there, I guess, they like to eat a lot. Do they eat morning,
noon,
evening,
and night?
So they have their breakfast, their lunch, and they have dinner as well.
Generally speaking, caterpillars are going to eat from the time the sun goes up till the time the sun goes down. When it gets dark, they'll take a break, and then they'll start eating again as soon as it's daylight.
Hey, I understand caterpillars do something really, really funny with their poop. Would you guys like to hear this?
No, not really.
I want to hear it.
Well, they're just trying to keep their area clean. You know, these guys eat, they're eating machines, and so they have to go to the bathroom a lot, and they don't want to get it around them, so they actually spray it out real far away so it doesn't get on the plant they're eating on.
Wow. Do you guys do that at home?
No.
No.
Oh, I bet your moms are
Humans.
glad.
Caterpillars are really strange, but very interesting insects. When we come back, we'll see what happens when caterpillars go into the chrysalis stage. Welcome back, boys and girls. Did you know that in order for a caterpillar to change into a butterfly, he has to go into a life-transforming stage called metamorphosis? Miss Gamble showed the Whiz Kids and I the most magical part of the life cycle. Miss Gamble, take it away.
So what you all are seeing here is our emergence box. And you see all of these chrysalis that are hanging in the box, and each one of those has a butterfly inside, right? So this is what happens in between caterpillar and adult. This is the chrysalis life stage, and this is where metamorphosis takes
The metamorphosis takes place.
Right.
How long is this stage?
It depends on the species,
Okay.
but generally a couple weeks.
Okay.
There are some butterflies that actually overwinter in this stage, and in that case, they would stay that way a couple of months over the winter, but generally a couple weeks.
Okay.
Where would you find these in nature?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the butterfly is going to hide these in nature the best she can, right? The butterfly's going to hide. So take a look at some of these. Some of these look like a rolled up leaf. Maybe some of these look like a little piece of moss or a piece of bark.
Bark.
So in nature, you'd probably find these hidden on a tree, very cleverly camouflaged, huh? Okay.
That's cool.
Take a look at some of these golden ones up here. Do you see in the back row that there's some that kind of have a golden color to them? Now, those are getting a lot of black on them. These chrysalids actually change color right before the butterflies come out, so we have a pretty good idea. But most of the time, those guys are bright gold. See up on the top shelf there, those that have gold on them? Okay?
That's great.
Now, we're talking about these guys being camouflaged. It's really hard to imagine gold being a camouflage, right? Okay, so let's picture how that might be. Let's picture that we're in the rainforest. Okay, is everybody in the rainforest? We're walking through the woods, and we're all going to look up to the sky, and you're going to see a whole bunch of leaves above your head with just little tiny bits of sunlight filtering through, right? Little bits of gold sunlight. Now, if you had one of those hanging from the top of the tree, would you know if it was a chrysalis, or would you just think it was a little bit of sunlight shining through those leaves?
Just a little bit of sunlight.
And that's how gold can be camouflaged.
So I see some, we actually have a few butterflies that are just hanging out still with the chrysalis. So talk a little bit about that and explain the difference probably between a cocoon and the chrysalis.
Okay. Once they start to come out of the chrysalis, it usually takes just a few minutes for them to get completely out. But then they have to sit there and dry for a while. And so what you're seeing with these guys that are just kind of hanging out, they're actually waiting for their wings to dry. Now, this is their most vulnerable stage in nature, guys, because when their wings are wet, they cannot fly. And that's an easy time for a predator to come and pick one of them off.
At this stage right here, they can't be touched.
Right, it's very damaging to touch them
Okay.
at this stage. You really need to wait until they're completely dry. Now, between a chrysalis and a cocoon, both of those are pupal stages. Okay. So they are both the time when metamorphosis happens, so they're very similar in function. A chrysalis is specific to a butterfly, and a cocoon is specific to a moth.
Are you aware of anything else on Earth, any animals, insects, anything that goes through a metamorphosis like this?
There are some other insects that go through complete metamorphosis, but probably none is quite as magical and as grand as the butterfly.
I mean, that's great.
It's utterly fascinating to think that these guys have completely different body shape, different types of mouth parts, different foods, different everything while they're caterpillars, right? That's so different from us. You look a lot like you're going to look when you grow up, don't you? And you're probably going to like kind of the same foods, right? But think about the caterpillar and the butterfly. He's going to like one kind of food as a caterpillar, and he's never going to taste that food again as a butterfly.
It's amazing.
Only nectar once he grows up, right?
Wow, wasn't that exciting? Now you see why I had to do it myself. I just hope I can figure out how to turn myself back. Let me give it a try. Thank goodness, I was starting to get a craving for nectar. Now let's make some more time for magic. Later in the show, make sure you have a cup, a coin, and also some paper towel or napkins, and I'm going to show you how to make a coin magically disappear. what's going on here? I see really the beautiful birds in the background, the waterfalls, the butterflies.
Well, every plant in this conservatory is chosen because it has a specific use for butterflies. As far as a butterfly is concerned, there's only 3 kinds of plants in the world. Do you guys know what they are? They're host plants, nectar plants, and roosting plants.
Roosting.
Okay?
Look at that one over there on the window.
Okay. How long, what's the lifespan of a butterfly?
Well, the adult part of the butterfly life cycle usually lasts about 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks.
That's it.
Wow,
Now,
wow.
some species a little longer, like the long wings, they usually live about 8 weeks.
Okay.
But for an average, 2 to 4 weeks.
Unbelievable. 2 to 4 weeks. And what would a butterfly eat? I mean, you said they like to eat. What would a butterfly, do you guys know what a butterfly would like to eat? Anybody? Leaves? Nectar.
Okay, now you brought up 2 very important food sources, but it's important to remember that the food is very different at the different time of the butterfly's life, right? It eats leaves when it's a caterpillar, and when it's a caterpillar, it has chewing mouth parts, and it chews the leaves, right? But then as a butterfly, it has completely different mouth parts. An adult butterfly has mouth parts like a straw. Have you guys ever seen those whistles at a party that you can blow and the whistle unrolls? Have you ever seen those? A butterfly mouth part is just like that. It's just like a straw, and when they're ready to sip some nectar, they unroll that tongue, stick it in a flower, and slurp the yummy nectar out. Nectar has lots and lots of sugar in it, so butterflies eat a lot of sugar in their diet.
Okay. Well, I want to take a little walk and see if we can, maybe you can show us some of the great things happening here at Butterfly Garden. Yeah.
How do
I see the beautiful...
get their color?
How do butterflies get their color? That's a great question.
It depends on the shape of the individual cells in their wings. And did you know also that the food a butterfly eats as a caterpillar can impact the color of its wings? If it gets lots and lots of good food while it's a caterpillar, its wings will be much more colorful and vibrant. But if food is in short supply while he's a caterpillar, he's probably going to be a smaller and duller colored butterfly. So good food is important to butterflies just like for people, right?
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Moth. Do you know what a moth is? Are they related, butterflies and moths?
They are related.
Okay.
They're all in what we call the same order. So in the big scheme of things, butterflies and moths are closely related. But there's some differences between them as well.
And that's what I want to hear, the differences.
Well, one difference is most moths fly at night and most butterflies fly during the day. So 9 times out of 10, if it's during the day and you see it flying, it's probably a butterfly and not a moth. Now another thing that you can look at is look at the antenna close up. A butterfly antenna looks like a long straight hair with a little knob on the end. But a moth antenna looks kind of like a comb or a feather. It's got the one long straight piece, but then it's also got lots of bristly hairs. Do you know what moths use those antennae for? And they can smell so much better than us. A moth can smell stuff even a mile away.
Over a mile away? Wow, that's pretty incredible. Can you imagine if we could smell that far away? We would have noses like Pinocchio. Now, here's a question that's a bit smelly. Let's listen in.